All right, welcome to another 902 gaming video. Today I'm going to go over one of the deck lists that was recently posted on MTG Arena. It was one of the ones that went from Platinum to Mythic again. There's this deck list was actually, there was actually a deck list that had won a standard. I'll go to show you here. There was a standard league, I believe it was. Yep, standard challenge rather, and it's very similar to the deck list that's posted here. There's a few changes to it. It's moved all of the elite spellbinders to the sideboard. It's also added Concealing Curtains and Valky and another Sorin and Emeria's Call are the biggest changes. Now this deck, when you look at it, it's playing 24 lands, but in actuality it's likely playing around 28 with the 2 Maulings and the 2 Emeria's Calls. So I wanted to give this one a spin. I think by now the black-white deck has been kind of played out, but this has a few cards that lately I've been playing quite a bit of, and I think they're a little underrepresented, and I think they're better than where the format's sitting at. I think as of now, I guess I'm not 100%, I wouldn't say 100% for sure, but as of right now, I think this is possibly the best deck in the format. Some version of this black-white. You have Duress available to you from the sideboard. You have big threats like Edgar that stick around. You have Henrika. I think Silver Quill Silencer has been underrepresented in the format as well. It's a very good card. And Wedding Announcement's also been underrepresented as well. This was a deck that I initially saw, and I actually initially started playing it in a red-white deck that was playing this along with Stencia Burning. And you would just make a bunch of tokens, and then they would all get bigger as soon as this flipped over. So when I saw this deck list, and when I saw it on MTGO on their deck lists, I decided I wanted to give it a try and see how it goes. I don't think I'm going to do best of 3 just yet. I still think that the matches will be long and boring because my fear is I'm going to be playing a lot of blue-red. And every time I play blue-red, it tends to be a very long and grinding match, and it's not very exciting to watch. So not only do I want to play something different when I make these videos out, I'm hoping to play against something that's different, something that might open my eyes. Say, hey, that's actually a lot better than I thought it was. Well, this isn't a good hand, so we're going to mulligan. This is better. Put a plains on the bottom, I guess. We'll keep. Done. Play the Shattered Sanctum. Yikes. Okay. Not against. I don't need these against mono white. The Wedding Announcements, I think, is pretty good against mono white. Just gives you, lots of chump blockers for a while until it lets you get to your big spells to allow you to take over the game. Yeah, there's not really anything else I can do. I'm not sure why this deck isn't playing something like Doomscar. I think it should be in there. Especially against these types of decks that can basically drop multiple creatures. Kind of gives you something to do on turn 2 and allows you to play Doomscar on turn 3 if necessary. I'm going to play. I guess I do have a triple white spell, so we will play this, and we're just going to play this down. This will give me a blocker as well to block the adversary. Now, once these creatures start getting out of hand with this combination, like the Voice of the Blessed and stuff like that, I think I have to block here still. I think I should. They're still going to gain tons of life, but I think I just massacre here for 2. Now, in some instances there, if they had the voice of the blessed, likely would have been way bigger than Meathook Massacre could have handled. Which is one of the reasons why I like playing Doomscar. I have a Marius Call. I just want to keep making land drops, I think. You can tap, play that. We'll keep Edgar. We'll play Edgar out. Not attack. Make another token. This flips. There we go. That's pretty good, I think. Makes everybody huge. Soren along with Edgar's. Yeah, there's the voice. And this thing's going to get huge now. Oh, no, it doesn't. Doesn't trigger that. Interesting. Okay. Now I can play the adversary for 4 mana and pump everybody. I can, if I play this, I can draw a card. I can play this as well. I think I want to be aggressive here. I got a lot of life to work with, and I need to start chipping them down. Maybe playing a Brutal Cathar, maybe. Okay. Well, need to draw a card. Cool. Another Massacre. I think I'm going to play the Announcement. And what is it? 2 or more creatures. Yep. We'll draw a card here. Maybe I should have allowed it to make a token. Yep. Oh, I got another one. Okay. So Voice of the Blessed is now out of reach here. Definitely trade if he attacks. I'll play him. Okay, that doesn't do anything right now. Neither does that, really. -4, so I can kill everything but Edgar and this. Basically take all my mana. Or I can play, I have 6 mana. I can play this and this. Potentially, or the Soren and the Silver Quill. I think getting as much off the board now as I can is what I want to do. This thing now indestructible. 10 or more counters, okay. I need to draw something that'll remove that spell. This probably is good. So yeah, that's how that matchup went. It was pretty good, I think. Good indication of how the deck plays against mono white, especially Voice of the Blessed. Voice of the Blessed can get out of hand very, very, very fast. They didn't have their broken draw, and I had a bunch of removal to actually deal with it. I'll play one more. I think that was a pretty good indication of how that deck plays, how this deck plays against the mono white, having access to multiple copies of Wedding Invitation and Wedding Announcement. I keep calling it Wedding Invitation. Wedding Announcement and Meat Hook Massacre. I think this is basically the core of the deck. I think right here. I think the rest of the, I should show it over here. I think this is the core of the deck here, actually. These 7 cards, and then you can kind of pick and choose what you want to play against, or how you want to kind of craft your deck. And I think it does need a couple of more removal spell. I don't know if Hagra Mauling is the right choice. I'll keep. I'm on the play, so. Fortunately, on turn 2, I won't really be able to guess. If they're playing, so with this, I can infer a couple of things. I can say that they're either playing mono red, or I can assume that they're playing Expressive Iteration. Let's say they're playing. We'll assume they're playing blue red in this instance. They might not be. They might just be mono red all the way. They may have the removal spell. Yeah, I could have picked Thundering Rebuke or the Snow spell as well, but I think it's fine. If they are blue, they're goblins, so that's fine. I think we'll just play Edgar here. He's probably going to eat another removal spell. With choosing the removal spell, there's so many to choose from, especially against snow-covered red. You can't really pick and choose, because if you pick one, they'll likely have the other one. So I went on the assumption that they were playing blue-red. I was actually hoping to play against blue-red. Because playing against another aggro deck doesn't do a whole lot. Does he get first strike? No. Probably should have checked before I blocked. Cool. I think I'm gonna save Valky to actually cast him at 7 mana.
Darkness will swallow the do what I demand.
I guess this is kind of black-white tokens, I suppose. It's got both, and it's got a bunch of tokens. Does this thing have haste? Yes, it does. Okay.
At least there is blood on your hands.
The music's not too loud. Because block, it deals 1 damage to target creature blocking it, so I can't even triple block it. Okay. That's fine. Okay, so now we have... So I'm going to play this as the red, so I can actually cast Valky. And I think we'll play the Wedding Announcement. And then we'll exile this. And then we're just going to attack with 1 creature. So I get another token from this. I don't necessarily... what does this guy do? I'm not going to block. Okay. Yep. We'll play Sorin. Minus. Go to combat.
I bring my own army.
Yeah, there's any reason not to attack with everybody. Draw. Okay. I have a couple blockers. A couple lifelink blockers. This card seems to be extremely, extremely powerful. I think it's underplayed quite a bit at the moment. We'll block, I guess. And that's it. Pick up. Decline. We'll play Tybalt.
Trickery is just a hobby. Chaos is my... Make no mistake. I'm not nice.
And that's it. So yeah, this deck seems extraordinarily powerful. I think backed by Wedding Invitation and Meathook Massacre and the couple of Planeswalkers. I don't know if there's things I would necessarily change. Play one more, although I think both games gave a good idea of how the deck's actually playing out. But I'd like to see situations where, I mean, every deck right now, at least in the current standard format, you want to draw your cards in a certain order. So you want to go 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, you know, and hopefully that's better than your opponent and your opponent stumbles. But what you want is your consecutive drops to be more powerful than your opponent's. All right, so this is a little bit of a different, and I'm on the draw, so I think I'm just gonna keep. I have a turn 1, I have a Path of Peril against aggro, and I have a Wedding Announcement. I think this card's, well, so far anyway, I haven't played against blue-red or anything. I'm gonna lead with the Swamp here. Here's a blue-red deck. Or potentially mono-blue or blue-white with spirits. So he's probably got a Fading Hope here. Yep. Again, it doesn't really set me back. I think I'm gonna. Yeah, I think I'll play it this way. I may have the counter spell now, but that takes away a land of theirs too. The Jwari Disruption. They'll have to spend one of their land to get rid of it. I think sometimes when you're playing with decks like this that are pretty threat dense, I think almost every card in this deck is a threat to blue-red. There's only a few cards that aren't, like some of the removal spells, I guess. You want to force them to spend some of their land spells. Because they tend to run very light on land. Well, this kind of sucks. Hmm. This potentially, but I think it's got to be a divide by 0 at this point. It does set them up for whatever I play this turn. I just want to bait here. We'll likely disperse this, or sorry, divide by 0. But that's fine. I'll have to spend it eventually, or they can bounce my creature. Either one. Both are fine. I think I'm gonna hang on to Valky until I get to 7 mana. So I know they don't have another. Well, they could potentially have another divide by 0. In that case, there's not a lot I can do there. Again, I'm just gonna play this. See if they'll react to it or not. Yep. I think I want to draw. I think I'm going to draw a card. So a dragon would be pretty bad here for me. Oh, that's fine too. I have a couple of choices here. I can keep up the pressure with the hive, or I can cast Wedding Announcement and potentially just cast Valky, since they did get rid of the Spikefield Hazard. I think I do need to advance my board a little bit. I'll play this. I think we play Valky. I think Valky's just for information purposes now. Just to see what's going on over there. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So they have 4 land. I'm fine with that. I don't really have much against this deck right now either, mind you. I have an Amarius Call. That I'm going to save, I think, to cast. Again, I just want to make tokens here. I'll draw a card this turn. I have a choice here. It potentially could have drawn Jawari. I think this is a big threat for me too. So I think I'm just going to play another one. You can counter this if they want. Yep. do. Now I have 6 mana. That's fine. Nice. Nice. Alright, so they have to do something. And try to win the game here. Yep. Land. Yep. They drew quite a bit of land there, so it's unfortunate for them. Okay. Okay. GG's or no? Good game. All right, so we got to play against blue-red, and they did draw quite a few lands, so it wasn't a good indication of the deck. Although, you can see in a best-of-3 matchup some of the cards that would end up coming out, like Meathook Massacre and the Path of Peril. As for, I'll go over and do a quick deck here with it. Give my thoughts. Everything seemed good. I didn't mind this, although probably could be dropped to 1 copy and maybe play, I don't know, maybe a Professor Onyx or something. The Silver Quill Silencer seems good, but it's better in games 2 and 3 than it is in just best of 1. I still have a fondness for it. Valky as well. Again, I'd rather have it as a 7-drop than as a 2-drop against most decks, it seems like. Although, like you saw in that last game, it gave me quite a bit of information to basically just kind of do what I wanted. They drew too many lands. They had 4 cards. I had no idea. So it does give you some information against decks like that, where you're like, oh, where should I play if they have a counterspell? No, whatever it happens to be. This card here against seems to be, my guess would be for the blue-red matchup. However, you saw there where I'm basically spending a couple of turns trying to activate it, and if they do it in response to transforming it, it really puts you behind. So if they had waited to Fading Hope when I decided to transform it, it wouldn't transform. There would be nothing there, and so basically I would waste 2 turns, 1 casting it, and then paying the mana to flip it, and then it gets returned to my hand. Then I have to do it all over again. So I don't know. Maybe it's for something else potentially. Maybe it's for like a mirror match. Maybe you want it against decks like this specifically, like against other black-white decks. Maybe it's better there, where they can't really interact in that way. They're not playing like Fading Hope. And I don't actually, maybe the Intrepid Adversary. It's just another way to pump your tokens as well. Because essentially that's what it feels like we're playing here. It feels like we're playing a bunch of cards that just, they pump out your tokens up and stuff like that. Edgar's good there. Sorin. Maybe the Haggard Mauling is maybe the worst card in the deck. Just pure terms of pure power level. And I do like the little red splash just to be able to cast Valky. So potentially I would drop 1 call and maybe 1 Haggard Mauling. And I would play, I mean, I do like, it's good against, like creature lands and stuff as well, although it's very expensive. The majority of the time you're going to be casting it you're going to be playing it as a land, same as Amiria's Call too. And I think in terms of against blue-red, and again, potentially this card isn't for the blue-red matchup because of, basically what I said. You play it, and then you try to transform it, then they bounce it, and then you're doing it all over again. And if they have 2, then you're wasting, all of your time. Potentially, if you're playing against a lot of blue-red, potentially just have Elite Spellbinder in that spot. I kind of like having Elite Spellbinder main deck anyway. the other version on MTGO was playing 1 copy and 1 in the sideboard, or 3 in the sideboard, I think. So 1 in the main and 3 in the sideboard. I would want the only downside I see to this, the way the deck is built right now, is potentially a weakness to just creatures, small creatures, at least in game 1. So if you're just like me, you're just playing best of 1, I would like to see a Doomscar, number 1, and potentially another, maybe like a Fateful Absent, something that gives you at least some way to remove a Planeswalker. It does let them draw a card as well, but I think having a cheaper removal spell, this is a land, like I said, you're already playing 24 and then 25, 26 lands. So there's potential there, but again, I'd rather have a cheaper removal spell, even though they do investigate. I mean, you can put Infernal Grasp here. You can play even a Hero's Downfall as well in this spot, maybe. Your 3 drops are pretty shallow. So potentially just playing maybe like a Hero's Downfall as well. So if you don't want them to draw cards. I think that's a good choice as well. It's just another option. Because I'm more biased towards playing best of 1 games, I like to have, maybe a niche card here, a niche card there, where, in certain matchups, I will need some way to get rid of a Planeswalker. And yes, we have Vanishing Verse as well. But I just like an extra removal spell. And if you're playing this, I'd rather this. Although I can see the benefit of having, if this was destroy target creature or Planeswalker, this would be probably be a 4 of in every deck, especially any deck that's playing black, just because it's a land and it's a removal spell for, 2 possible problem permanents for this deck. And maybe they're not an issue. Maybe with the duress and stuff in the sideboard, like if you're playing best of 3, they're not an issue. So there's not a whole lot I would change about this deck. I do like it quite a bit. There's other versions that are playing like Luminarch Aspirant, I think. I think the MTGO one was playing Luminarch Aspirant. I had a deck built similar to that, and I didn't really like the Aspirant as much. I like this card quite a bit. I like all the 2-drop creatures in this deck right now. There's even could potentially be a case made for 4 Intrepid Adversaries and no Valky as well. I think that's a possibility as well. And I think with the Concealing Curtains, I think if you look at the 1-drops available to this color combination, there isn't much better than Concealing Curtains, and just in terms of raw power level of the card. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you later.